Well, the official start of summer is just 2 days away, and that means more surfers, a lot more surfers are going to be in the water, and with that, there'll be plenty of surfing injuries. Dr. Scott Leary from the Cinta Clinic at Alvarado Hospital joining us this morning, and you say that the biggest mistake that people make before they get in the water is really not knowing the water conditions.
Well, definitely. I mean, if you're an expert surfer, that's one thing, but if you're someone who's maybe new to San Diego or wanting to explore San Diego and pick up something like surfing or bodyboarding.
Or just a new surfer.
Or just a new surfer, exactly. You really want to understand a little bit about the conditions before you just jump in. One of the biggest things, too, is preparing appropriately. There could be so many, the weekend warrior syndrome, for example.
Right. Sure, so people don't have the proper equipment when they get out there? Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely. If your wetsuit doesn't fit properly, that's a big issue. Or if you're just not in shape. You want to work on your core, your balance, so that you have power and stability when you're on the board. So, things like core exercises with your abs and your back, your shoulders, your glutes, squats, those sorts of, workouts and exercises will get you in shape. So you're less likely to, suffer a serious injury.
So, yeah, definitely prepare before you get out there. And then when you get out there, if you realize, hey, the conditions are a little rough, maybe it's time to get out.
Absolutely. And, one of the big issues about conditions is not just so much the wave, but understanding the location that you're surfing. And really, understanding the bottom is a real important issue. So a place like La Jolla Shores, for example, is really mellow, and it's a beach break, and there's not a lot of rocks or reef. But other locations, like some of the best surf locations in the world, are on reefs, and that's a really shallow bait, a really shallow bottom. So if you can imagine, if you're surfing a reef with a shallow bottom and you are inexperienced and you take a fall, you're a setup for a disaster, and that's a sort of situation.
Yeah, and it's really easy to find out. You just, you tune into San Diego 6. We have a lot of the surf conditions, or surfline.com. It's an easy call, or just go to the internet and find out the conditions. You don't want to go out if you're not an experienced surfer.
Well, that's...
And the conditions are rough, I should say.
Exactly, right. So...
Left that part out.
Yeah. It's all based on your clearly, people start out as a beginner and then they progress. But you just don't want to jump into a really intense reef break when you're just learning. Also, another key thing is not to surf alone. If you're surfing alone, no one's really watching you. No one's got your back, so to speak. If you have a fall or an injury, maybe you're going to be missed. So that buddy concept, surfing with somebody, preferably if you're a beginner, someone more experienced than you, can really be a lifesaver.
And then if there is any injury, obviously don't wait. You want to call 911 immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a neurosurgeon and a spine specialist, so the types of injuries that I see are the spine injuries. And if that sort of thing occurs, you want to basically let the experts handle it. You just want to be out of the water as fast as possible, and then have your neck immobilized, and then let the experts handle it from there. Call 911, get paramedics down there. People can be life flighted out from the beaches. So, there's a whole system in place here in San Diego.
And by the way, we were talking before the show, you've treated more surfing injuries than you care to remember, right? I mean, this isn't something that, we're just saying, hey, be careful, before you get... This is serious stuff.
It definitely is, and just in my experience, I've run the gamut from young kids learning to surf, experienced, young men who just had a bad injury on a reef or something like that. And then I remember one patient who was a CEO of a hospital who was boogie boarding in La Jolla on a family vacation. They were down from Northern California, and she had a bad injury, ruptured a huge disc in her neck, and luckily could have been permanently injured. Operate on her, and she made a perfect recovery. So,
all right, Dr. Scott Leary from Alvarado Hospital, thanks so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
Some really good information. You got to be careful before you get out there.
Yeah,
you know what you're getting into.
Have fun out there.
All right, absolutely. Have some fun, but be careful.